that's me. Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone.
2020 is off to a good start. Great music, though. I like that. I love minor
Happy
key
New Year.
jazz.
It's the Podsquad, and we are the Podsquad with Happy Morrison, Jay Maulucci, Ted Peterson, and yours truly, Wendy Card. And Simon Spalding is also in the house.
Hi there.
So, and we're in Wit Clothier in historic downtown New Bern. Thanks for joining us for New Bern Now's podcast for January 2nd, 2020, episode 133.
All right,
Oh, yeah.
133.
Gotta get used to the 2020.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're connecting you with the community by taking the show on the road. Here we are on the road. Thanks for joining us on our journey to showcase the people, places, businesses, and nonprofits in New Bern and beyond.
Oh, and today's show is brought to you by, right where we are, Wit Clothier. Visit them at 502 Pollock Street or give them a call at 252-631-5098 and talk to this fella here next to me, and he'll take good care of you.
We'll try.
If you're joining us on social media, let us know if you have any questions, comments, or announcements.
There you go.
All right, so now we need to know what is going on.
Oh, yeah. What's going on? Well, right next to you there, if people are watching, we have Simon Spalding, a man of many talents in the house.
Thank you.
Welcome to the podcast. And you were on the podcast back, I would say probably around 2014 or 15 at the Isaac Taylor House, but we weren't live then, so.
Yeah.
Magic now.
Okay, yeah, I'll get a little closer.
There we go. So,
Okay.
and you're a music historian, you're a composer, you're
Yeah.
a musician.
Yes, thank you.
And you're also, you created the music for Honor the Musical.
That's right.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah, Bill Hand wrote the script, and it's a really fun show, all set in New Bern, and practically all of the characters are people who really lived in New Bern in 1802. And one of the central events is the Stanley Spate duel. John Stanley and Richard Dobbs Spate fought a duel. And so Bill's script explores the reasons why two grown men would feel the need to shoot at each other with pistols in that era. But there's a lot of other issues too, about slavery, about one of the interesting characters in that is John Carruthers Stanley, who was a free black man who owned a lot of slaves. And all those issues are explored in considerable depth in Bill's script.
How did you all get together to do that?
Well, Bill and I actually met when we both worked at Tryon Palace. I was living history programs manager, and among other duties, I directed character interpreters, people who would portray people from the past, usually either 1770 or 1835 or 1861 or 1862. And Bill was one of our character interpreters, so we got to work together on that.
So has this idea been percolating back there for all these
Well,
years?
Bill will be the one to tell you that, but I think it probably has been, because I remember telling him, I think, one point, browsing through books in my office when I wasn't out working out on the site, I found what I thought was sort of a key to something. I'd been trying to understand the reasons for the Stanley Spate duel. And I was coming up with these things. Okay, they didn't like each other very much, but why would they come to this? And then suddenly I found that all the Stanleys were Federalists, and that Richard Dobbs Spate was a Jeffersonian. And that was, to me, that was a big
deal. Big deal at the time.
It was a big deal at that time. That was a period of very polarized politics. The Adams-Jefferson presidential election was really the first, in my opinion, the first really controversial presidential election. Washington was the obvious choice, since he commanded the Continental Army, and then Adams was kind of his appointed, anointed successor. But by the end of the Adams presidency, there were things like the Alien and Sedition Acts that people were really upset about. And Jefferson ended up being a spokesperson for different ways of doing a number of things. It's interesting to see, if you look at American history, you can see that in 1799, Adams and Jefferson had very different ideas about the way the country would go, and in the end, the way things went was a little bit of Adams and a little bit of Jefferson. It was really kind of a compromise, which is
Ideal.
Yeah, which is ideal,
Yeah,
and is it became really a kind of the American way of doing things in politics. But this was all being made up on the spot, and a lot of that, I think, Bill's script deals with that very frequently. They talk about, well, yeah, he helped pen the Constitution. The Constitution is relatively new. And these big questions, will the United States of America have a Navy or won't they have a Navy? Adams says yes, Jefferson says no. There are all these different really major issues that were played out in the conflict between Adams and Jefferson. So all of these local events taking place in New Bern in 1802 are taking place behind the backdrop of a very exciting era in American history.
Has anybody seen this musical before?
No, they haven't, because we've just been writing it. I think Bill showed me an earlier form of the script maybe a year and a half ago, but we only really got the go-ahead for me to write the music score what's now last year, 2019.
Wow.
I managed to work with a music transcriber to transcribe the songs, so all the singers don't have to read my chicken scratch. The instrumentalists do have to read my manuscript, but I actually write. I think I write music more neatly than I write.
Sorry, it's a live business.
Yeah, absolutely. The phone's ringing. Do you need to get that?
I think I have people who are going to answer it, but we'll see.
Any moment now.
They do.
Excellent.
So folks who come to see you and honor the musical are going to be seeing something for the very first time.
Absolutely, the very first time.
Not only a premiere, a world premiere.
A world premiere on January 23rd.
Wow.
All right.
That's exciting. Very exciting.
Yeah, we're excited.
Yeah.
We've been rehearsing about 3 nights a week, and then starting this week, we're stepping it up to 4 rehearsals a week. So yeah, we're really in the crunch time for getting the show ready to perform.
What about the costumes?
I don't know much about that. I think Marianne Murphy is our costumer, and I think they're at least evocative of the period.
Super.
Yeah.
Well, great resources to get the information for all.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Well, Bill Hand is amazing. We're actually in the Stanley House right now. We're not in.
Yes.
We're in the Edward R. Stanley House.
Oh, right. Yes.
And there's always been a bit of controversy as to there were apparently 2 Edward R. Stanleys in 1850.
Interesting.
And we actually have a sign over there that gives, according to Bill Hand, some misinformation about which Edward R. Stanley is over there. So,
Fascinating.
But my Edward R. Stanley, who lived here, is apparently unrelated to that same Stanley that
Really?
is there. So, though their names are spelled the exact same.
Yeah.
Sorry?
Do you have a large cast?
Yeah, we have a good-sized cast. We've got some great local talent. Please don't ask me to list them all. I'm still learning their names. But we have Per Erickson, who's been a real pillar of the Oriental theatrical community, and we've got John Stilley, who's also a very talented actor and singer locally. We've got Heron Beatty, who a lot of people know from his performances in the John Canoe program at Triumph Palace, and we've got Denise Magwood portraying Sarah Rice, who in 1802 is a slave of the Spate family, but wants her freedom. And there's fascinating interactions between her and the Spates, and her and John Carruthers Stanley, who in our drama is usually called by his nickname Barber Jack, but he's the half brother of John Stanley, who's one of the duelists.
Wow.
Nickname is Barber?
Barber.
Oh, Barber.
He started off with a barber shop, and he managed to save enough money with a barber shop. He bought his wife's mother's freedom, and then he started buying real estate, investing in real estate with the money he managed to save up. ended up with some farms out of town, which he farmed with slave labor. His house still stands, by the way. It's right here on Hancock Street, just up the street opposite the Academy, and only, less than a block away from his half brother John Stanley, who's one of the duelists.
Wow. Now you are responsible for all the music.
Yes, yeah. I wrote the score. I did use some historical music. I used some music of the period. And but the rest of it is Bill's lyrics and my music. I used some dance tunes of that period as scene change music, but most of it I wrote, and then my friend in California, Bernard Brandt, transcribed the songs. At least the instrumentals were still reading off of my manuscript.
And
Yeah. But I think my parts look neater than Beethoven's and Bach's did. I'll say that. I looked at some of their manuscript, but that way the singers can learn their songs off type, electronically typeset music, and then I'm co-music director along with John Stilley. So he's doing a lot of the vocal coaching. I've done the choreography. We're doing a dance that was published in 1807. That goes to, you'll never guess what it goes to. It goes to the tune Jefferson and Liberty, which was Jefferson's presidential campaign song. It's the first American presidential campaign song.
Wow.
Again, this is something we've sort of gotten away from.
I was going to say, I'm trying to think of the last presidential campaign song.
they borrow from popular music.
Yeah, I can think of Clinton did with the Fleetwood Mac song.
Yeah.
Yes, that's right.
Certain people you associate it with. Right.
Yeah, and so that's what they do now. But through the 19th and early 20th century, there were songs that were the key song of a campaign. Teddy Roosevelt used a pre-existing song, There'll Be a Hot Time in the Old Town Tonight. No kidding. I am not kidding. That was for all of his presidential campaigns.
That is hilarious.
That was Teddy Roosevelt doing, bully! Oh, and then Lincoln had their...
I would have voted for him then.
Yeah. Whatever you think about Lincoln. Here in Newburgh, you see.
I'm sorry, I was talking about
Roosevelt. Okay, yeah. I think Lincoln's a more controversial figure in these parts. But Lincoln supporters made up a song about him, hurrah for the choice of the nation, to the tune of Rosin the Bow. And Jefferson supporters used an Irish fiddle tune called the Gabio, and they set a song to that, saying some very unflattering things about the Adams administration.
Oh my goodness.
Gosh.
So division has been many.
Yes.
Consistent. Consistent for our democracy. Yes.
Gosh. Well, you've got something there. Do you have time at this point?
Yeah.
Wendy?
Yes.
Can you hold
I
the
can hold
mic
that.
then? And,
wherever you tell me to hold it.
Yeah. Well, fiddle's going to make a lot of sound. So, would you like to hear the Irish fiddle tune that Jefferson's campaign song goes to, which we're going to dance to in the drama?
Not here.
But not here.
Because there was sort of an anti-Irish feeling at the end of the century.
And even earlier, like the Know Nothing Party in the early 19th century too.
But you I don't know if you would necessarily, attach yourself to a controversial,
The question is, do people know that the tune was Irish? Because,
maybe that's it.
Because a lot of 19th century tune collections include the tune. Some of them they'll all say Jefferson and Liberty, then in parentheses, some of them will say the Gabio. So some people, musicians, may have known that it was an Irish tune, but I think most people who sang the song just knew it as the,
Jefferson.
the song to boost Thomas Jefferson.
Right. That's a beautiful song.
Now, when do you open?
January 23rd. It's a date well etched in my memory.
And runs 2 weekends.
That's right. Our last performance is on February 2nd, Groundhog Day.
Uh-huh.
And I'm wondering what's going to happen if I go to bed that night, if I wake up the next morning and, oh, you got to do the show again.
And where is the show going to be?
At Oringer Hall at Craven Community College.
And if folks want tickets, want me to do it?
If you've got the information, go ahead and...
You can go to New Bern Historical, actually, no, not New Bern Historical.
Honor the Musical?
Go to honorthemusical.com,
There we
directly,
go.
There we go.
directly to honorthemusical.com, or give us a call at the Historical Society at 252-638-8558, and they'll fix you up with tickets. Yeah, you can get tickets for any night, but you need to know which night you want to come.
Yeah, and
Or which night's plural, because you're going to see it and then want to see it again and hear all Simon's good music again.
Well, thank you. And Bill's wonderful lyrics. And I'm glad you mentioned the Historical Society, because two of our community partners with whom the show would just be a pipe dream of Bill and myself are the New Bern Historical Society and Craven Community College.
Right.
So having mentioned them, let's underline them because they're both so important.
Also, Carolina East Health Systems.
That's right,
Has a
Carolina
major,
East Health
major
Systems.
backer, and the New Bern Sun Journal,
Yes.
and a whole another list. Just we are so fortunate to have lots of good sponsors.
All right. Yeah, that's terrific, Simon. I can't thank you enough. We can't thank you enough for coming and joining us today.
My pleasure.
We
Thank
wish
you very
we
much.
had more time to talk, because you are just a man of so much knowledge, and it was so fun. to
And he
be
brings
around.
music.
Yes, and music, the joy to fill our hearts. So thank you for playing.
You're very welcome.
Joining us. So, all right.
All right.
You ready? 1, 2, 3.
Oh, the studio audience is going
The crowd goes
I
wild.
don't have the
Yeah.
You know, I have one of those. I use it with the Bears. I got a little. It was a toy that they had at Walmart a couple of Christmases ago, and I bought two of them. So you can just hold up the mic.
Have
I've
the
got
crowd.
applause. It's got laugh tracks. I got to be careful. It's got some sort of rude sounds as well. So I have to look at the buttons to make sure I get the right one.
Yeah, they're tiny buttons. Somebody took it out of my bag, so maybe that was a sign.
All right.
Alright, so, and Kathy,
Yes. I'm fishing for my papers I dropped.
the Historical Society continues to have all kinds of stuff
Yep,
going
in
on.
addition to Honor the Musical, there's two things I want to mention. The first one is January 19th is the Civil War lecture that's happening at the North Carolina History Center at 2 o'clock on that Sunday afternoon, and it's the presenter is Hampton Newsom, who's written a book called The Fight for the Old North State, and he's going to talk about the efforts to retake New Bern in 1864. You know, we know about the Battle of New Bern in 1862 and the battlefield out here, but he's going to talk specifically about the efforts to retake New Bern in 1864.
Wow.
So he'll be there on January 19th at 2 o'clock at the North Carolina History Center. You can get reservations if you want to reserve a seat. We ask for a $10 donation with all proceeds going to the battlefield. And that you can go to newbernhistorical.org/tickets or give us a call at 638-8558. The other thing is not till February, but things, they're going like hotcakes. And so I want to give everybody, you know, all of the New Bern Now listeners and folks a heads up. The February 12th Lunch and Learn is going to be about the Underground Railroad in New Bern.
Yeah.
And it's Lisa Jones, who's the executive director for the Underground Railroad Museum in Washington, is going to come and speak. And that is on February 12th at 11:30 at the Chelsea. You do need reservations. So again, newbernhistorical.org/tickets, and give us a call, 638-8558.
I think that's gonna be like
It's
sold out.
just all of a sudden
I
this-
think you're
this
gonna have to
week
need
they
an encore for
picked
that.
Yeah.
But they've gone started to really move like in the last 2 days. So if you're thinking about it, act on it now. Here's your early reminder, go before the seats are all taken.
I think there was an ad in the Sun Journal, and that got me going on it. And I'm like, oh my goodness, this looks like a wonderful program. And I know these luncheons do sell out quickly, so.
They do. So that's what that and Honor the Musical. So we'll see everybody at Honor the
Right.
Musical because they all want to come and hear Simon.
Yeah, and Bill.
Yeah.
And the whole talented
Yes,
cast.
Yes, everyone.
The pieces that I've heard of the music with the full sound of the singers behind it are really, really wonderful.
Tremendous.
Okay.
Tremendous.
All right.
And we're sitting here in Wit Clothier on Pollock Street, 502 Pollock Street, with Ted Peterson. How's it going, Ted?
It's going very well, and it's funny. I have a business here, and I would love to talk about my clothes, but when we start getting into the history discussions, I mean, it's a historic building, so so I keep on wanting to, oh yeah, let's discuss more about that. And it's funny because people will come in and talk about the architecture in this building and things we've uncovered as we've been restoring it, and but again, I have a business, so. so like,
It's a wonderful building.
well, we'll discuss. I mean, when you were talking about the effort to reverse the Battle of New Bern, we have one of the photos. We have a bunch of historic photos going down our main hallway, and one of them is right after the original Battle of New Bern. So it's Massachusetts infantry troops occupying this particular building in 1860, I guess. I thought it said 3 on the photo, maybe, but
The photo.
the photo might have been 63, and then I always say that everyone died of yellow fever the following year,
Yeah.
which if you go to
A lot of people
cemetery,
did.
you'll
Yes.
see that was certainly the case. But yeah, I can definitely go off on a tangent about that.
Well, we can do that another time. But
If you let me come, so you can hear it.
I am. Let me put on that hat.
you know what? If you don't know, we took the road show. We took the show on the road from the Charleston Dell studio because we could sit in a room, and we love Charles's studio. We really appreciate everything he does for our town. He definitely gives everyone a platform to come in and record, but we've been podcasting since 2014, and we sit in a room and we talk about how great New Bern is, but we decided to take it on the road so people could see how great New Bern is. The different businesses. We're going to be going to nonprofits. We're going to be going to surrounding towns. So yeah, so.
And Wendy has to bring all of her equipment over and figure out where all the plugs go and everything to.
Oh, you
to
can't
make it
see
happen,
we're
so.
wireless.
Not nearly.
Yeah.
It's very 2020.
So tell us about your awesome business.
Absolutely. So what we really do is we try to do one of a kind things you can't find anyplace else. So a lot of our businesses is made to measure stuff. So even if you could say, I just want a plain white shirt, there's first of all, I have like 20 different shades of white or different textures of white and things like that. And then you can choose the options about a different color, or if you're a woman, you have a blouse that you love and you want it to fit completely, the way you love this particular blouse to fit. We can work with all of that. But then it's just going to fit you, so it's going to be your favorite item in your wardrobe. So that's one big thing we do. We do a lot of things that are our own design, so they have our own label. You're not going to come over here and find Ralph Lauren or Brooks Brothers. Not to say like there's anything wrong with any of those, but we're our own designs and our own labels, and we make unique things. Actually, my parents are off on the Amazon right now. Finding new things to have.
Wonderful.
Yes.
You have neat stuff hanging behind you. I'm seeing a white shirt with a blue collar, a
These
yellow
are- well,
jacket with a different collar.
These are all things we've made for people. So,
So you can't have them.
but you can look at them and
Yeah.
say, "Oh, okay, I want something like that."
Ah, look at that.
See, I'm gonna
'tis the season for a nice camel
Yeah.
camel
Yes.
coat. And actually, I think this one is what we call a Chesterfield. So it's
Yes.
a camel coat, but it has a little bit of a black collar and things like that. So you
Very
can
nice.
choose, what you want to detail, and we try to make it fun. We'll open a bottle of wine and make it into an experience as much as
Gorgeous.
And this is how, most people got their clothes in the 19th century. You
Uh,
had a tailor.
poor and rich.
Yes,
Yes,
yes.
the poor would make their own clothes,
Right,
and
right.
the rich would have them made. But
Yeah,
the point is
yeah.
that you didn't
Yeah.
go to Belk's and
Right.
say I'll have a size
It
large.
wasn't off
and,
the rack, yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. So that's
Yeah.
definitely something we would like to bring back.
Yeah.
Do you need an appointment to come in and look, or can you just come and?
Well, it depends on how busy we are. I mean, if my ideal is that if you'd have an appointment because then you could say ahead of time, I'm looking for something in green, and then I can pull, a bunch of different things. And because I have so many fabric samples, it can be overwhelming if you just say, I want to see everything. And particularly for men, that, they don't think that they want to spend an hour, going through
They
everything.
show me 3 things, and let me choose one.
And a ton of times it's couples.
Yeah.
So they'll look at it in different lights and say, okay, well, and honey, what do you think? And kind of go back and forth on that. So again, if there's some wine involved, then it tends to be a little
It's
more
method.
fun.
Yeah. And swatches, my goodness, I'm looking at the wall, and there's the most
Yeah.
unbelievable variety of swatches.
Well, the other fun thing we can do, and I'm not actually wearing one of the shirts that is a good example of it, but I'll remember the next podcast, is that we can do contrasting colors too. So you can say, okay, well, I want to have, something with this pattern going here and a different pattern going over there.
That's what I'm seeing on this white one on the end, is like a blue paisley on the
Yeah,
inside.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's
That's neat.
and like I said, in a couple of weeks when the parents get back from the Amazon, I'll see what they brought along.
Lord knows what they're gonna bring you.
Well, I'm a little afraid.
How many is your room for buyers?
Good.
But I send them off and I say, like, which will you look for? And I say, just find something no one has seen before. And I'll say one thing that I know that my mom has found because she took a picture of it and put it up, was what you call, I just completely blanked on the name of it. What is the British thing that they always wear at Ascot, the women wear at Ascot, where it's a thing
A fascinator?
Fascinator. She
Okay.
bought the most amazing fascinator with all these Amazonian bird feathers.
Oh, my.
That is fascinating.
Exactly. So
Just a
you will not pick that up at Belk's.
Somebody named Charles Peterson has joined us here.
Oh, there you go. There's my hat. Apparently, he could tell I was talking about him.
It's good to have fans.
How awesome to take a trip on the Amazon. Well, they travel the world. They're world travelers.
So when we have things here from Eastern Europe and from South America and from all over the place, Morocco, Africa,
So people need to come in. And actually, if you come in today, if you come in while we're recording, let's see, you have 24 minutes left to come to 502 Pollock Street, and you'll be entered to win in a drawing. And if you comment on our social media during, not afterwards, but during the podcast, you'll be entered to win a prize. So,
Oh my.
yeah. So that's a reason for people to get in here and see all the gorgeous things. I mean, from accessories to, you just have all kinds of things, so. And Jillybird Boutique is.
Oh yeah, no, I should mention them.
Yeah.
They're kind of our new addition that we got about 4 months ago. So our friend Jillian Mitchell runs Jillybird, and their first room when you come in, and there are tons of accessories, especially for women. So it's a lot of hats and scarves and
Oh boy.
handbags,
Oh my.
jewelry.
Jane,
Definitely check them out.
yep.
Good thing I brought my purse. I'm in the right place.
And Jane, I haven't seen you in a few months. So
I know.
I know you're working on all kinds of things, but what's the newest project?
Well, I've got some new classes coming up, and the first one is going to be next Wednesday, January 8th. It's part of the Small Business Roundtable, and it's Alignable. What's in it for you? I don't know if you're familiar with Alignable, but it's LinkedIn basically for small business, and it's very local. So it's an online referral network that's really local. So it's terrific that you can actually connect with people that are right nearby and make your collaborations a little more easily than you can sometimes with LinkedIn, because LinkedIn is so big and for bigger organizations. So anyhow, that'll be the Small Business Roundtable at Craven Community College next Wednesday, January 8th at 7:30. They do provide coffee. So that's a good thing. That's important.
But not wine.
Right.
For wine, yes.
If you want to bring wine, that's your problem. So it's 7:30, and go online to the Small Business Center and sign up for the roundtable, and we'll love to see you there. And that is a free opportunity to learn all about Alignable, and also to network with a lot of the small businesses here in town.
And celebrate the Battle of New Orleans.
Okay.
On the 8th of January.
All right.
1814.
You took a little trip.
Trip
Yeah,
along with
exactly.
Colonel Jackson. Yeah.
There you go.
That song came much later.
I will mention that in my presentation.
Please, yeah.
Battle of New Orleans.
Well,
Okay.
yeah, you're the reactive voice, and
Right.
you make words that make sense, and you can come up with any kind of catchy
Thanks,
words or
Wendy.
anything. Sneak that in there somehow, because you are just so creative.
Well, thank you very much. Well, I'm also doing 3 other classes in January. I just want to quickly shout them out. On the Monday evenings, January 13th, 20th, and 27th, there'll be 1 class each. 13th is Copywriting Simplified, so you can create content that connects with your target market. The 20th, But I Hate Sales. Everybody who has a business has to know how to do sales. So come on, I'll teach you how to do it. It's really a process.
yeah.
And it's simple. And January 27th is You're an Expert, because coalesce your thoughts into a memorable and meaningful speech. We're all asked at one
did
time
that.
or another. Yes, you
I
did.
did. That's very good. That's
Thank you.
Good, because it helps you think of where you're going, how you're going to get there, what the pieces, parts you need to put in.
Yep.
That was very good.
Great. Oh, an endorsement. I love that. Thank you. Thanks, Kathy. I'll pay you later.
We'll go look at that.
Under the table.
Yeah. And each of these seminars, as Kathy would tell you, are very interactive, so you've really got to come there and expect to work. But they're just an hour and a half, and it's a $75 fee. And I'm using the local business again because I'm doing these over at the Next Chapter Books and Art. And they start at 6:30. So Mary Jo is giving me the space back there to use. So this is wonderful. I love our small town. It's
Yes,
fantastic.
definitely.
Fantastic. So that's all of my news today. Thanks for letting me spew.
Well, I'm speechless after that. That's you always have so much going on, and are you working on? You have 2 different.
Well, Trained by Jane is the training part of my business, which is what these classes are really under. The Reactive Voice is the writing side of the business. Because I do so much writing, and I find that people have challenges with creating their own content sometimes, that I decided to go into training people how to do it, because you don't always need a writer. I shoot myself in the foot, but you should be able to do some things yourself. And if you get down the basics, and then if you find that it's too hard or too time consuming or whatever, then, I'm here, I'll help you, hire me, I'll take care of it for you. But it's really just a process and things that you can learn. So that's why I have the Trained by Jane side of my business too.
I think it's important because some people really struggle with writing, and by hiring you to even do a press release can make all the difference in
Well,
the,
thanks.
you know what I mean?
Thanks so much.
Jane's my hero. All right. So I'm trying to think of what's going on with me, and I'm blank.
Well, this.
You're doing this.
Yeah, you're doing this.
Every
Yeah.
2 weeks you're doing this. You've got a ledger coming, not a ledger.
New Bernal Magazine.
New Bernal magazine
Yeah.
coming up.
Wow.
And if you want to be a contributing writer, as Jane is on newbernal.com, it helps you get your message out, and it reaches quite an audience. So, let's see, what have I took Finn for the first walk.
I knew you were going to bring it up.
I can't help it. And when we were doing the testing here the other day, Shadow, Ted's dog Shadow was barking, and it's no big deal, because we're going to be going to a dog's dream soon.
Oh,
Boy, maybe not the next podcast, but Dan Spangler and I are working on this, so the podcast is going to be going to the dogs.
I have never been in a dog ear contest. It is a
Oh
dog
my
test.
goodness, yeah.
Are
They
they
look at
thinking
you funny
that?
if you don't have one.
Absolutely.
They look at me funny. So,
I've got a concert coming up if you're.
Yes, definitely.
On January 12th, Sunday, the Bears are doing a free concert at Riverside United Methodist Church, where I am the music director. Since I started there, I've been doing concerts every month. They're free concerts. We put a blue bucket out if people want to donate to the church, but they're free. So it's going to be the Bears on January 12th. That's Sunday afternoon at 3 o'clock in the Fellowship Hall at Riverside United Methodist Church. It's on Avenue A.
Yeah, and if you haven't heard of the Bears, it's an oldies band, and you have an all-star cast. Do you want to?
Yeah, we've got Steve Latimer singing and playing guitar, Pat Engelman playing drums and also singing, myself mostly playing bass, singing occasionally, and I play fiddle on some songs, and then our lead singer is Janet Montero. Now, I've got really good news about Janet. Some people who may know her that she has a rare disease which caused both of her kidneys to shut down. She's been on dialysis, but just I think 4 or 5 days ago, she got the phone call. That's what you get when you're waiting for an organ transplant, and she's got a new kidney. Yeah, so that great news about Janet, and so far the kidney is functioning, and it's going great. So we're just hoping for no rejection, no infection. So we have Tracy Brenneman sitting in for Janet, because it's going to be a while before Janet's ready to belt out those great oldie songs, and so it'll be Tracy Brenneman filling in for Janet on January 12th.
And she's a shining light.
She
really
is. She is an amazing singer, also a multi-instrumentalist. If we get more time to work on some songs, we can maybe work her playing it as well. Her singing is just magnificent.
What kind of songs? What kind of music?
It's pretty much pop songs from the mid-50s to the mid-70s. And we do a few songs that are a little bit later, but pretty much almost all of our repertoire is 1955 to 1975. And so Beatles, Beach Boys,
You can work a
Elvis
fiddle
Presley.
in on that?
I'm sorry?
You can work a fiddle in on that?
Oh yeah, well some bands I played in, I've mostly played fiddle.
But I'm saying for those pop songs.
Absolutely. One thing with different bands I played in over the years, a lot of times I'll use the fiddle in place of brass or in place of flute. Anytime you need a strong melody instrument, the fiddle can do that. The fiddle can actually be a very good rhythm instrument too. It's just get a feel for how to do that.
wow.
But Simon also has a collection of hundreds of instruments that he can play.
Well, yeah, in my solo shows, a lot of times I go pretty much multi-instrumental. It's fairly rare that I'll do a solo show with less than 3 instruments, and sometimes it's 6 or 7. Fiddle and banjo I bring to most everything, but I have, during my 20s and my 30s, I was traveling pretty much nonstop and collected instruments on my travels. So I've got instruments from China, Sweden, different parts of the world.
Your instruments, my clothes.
There you go, great combination.
That sounds like a plan in the making.
All right, I think this is things
There's
that happen.
collaboration coming here. I can see this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Super.
All right. So let's see. Do you want to look at social media a minute? Did anyone do we have any watch parties or anything?
I don't have any comments. I got some folks watching.
Comment, folks, so you can enter to win
I
a
got
prize.
Dennis and Jack and Harry and Charles. He's still there.
And he's on the Amazon.
That's great.
That's
With
amazing.
cell phone coverage?
Yes,
Wow.
yes. No, I know he's posting on Facebook, so they
Okay.
have coverage down.
On the Amazon, but not from Riverbend.
Wrong river.
Oh well.
What What have you got?
Laura said, enter me, please, and Happy New Year. Well, you don't count. Because, no, you
Carol
count.
can't say that.
She's part of New Bern now, so there's a
Yeah, that was cheating.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's cheating.
Otherwise, my name would be in there.
Stuff.
Yeah. So we'll be making an announcement at 7 o'clock tonight. So
Comment.
comment.
Yeah,
Yeah.
say something
Tell
nice.
us, say how your New Year's coming so far. Or
What your
anything.
resolution is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
resolution. Anybody have any resolutions?
Not that I'm gonna say publicly.
No.
That would require accountability. No, nothing.
One of my friends in California had a great one. She said, I've made one big resolution this year to have fun doing whatever it is I do.
I love that.
I thought that was a good one.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yes, I totally agree.
I think that's a great idea.
All right. So are we ready to go state tripping?
All right,
I think
let's
so.
do that. Okay,
You wanna start rolling with
where do
this?
you want to start?
Do you want it?
You want
Okay.
You don't.
Okay.
Well, before I fiddle down.
Okay.
Well, how about, I'll get started.
You
Well,
start,
Here we
then we'll
go.
go around the other way.
all right, so here's a brief rundown of the events. All the details are published on newbernnow.com's community calendar. So the 4th is bingo night at the Craven County Fairgrounds, and also songwriter of songs of Ecology, Justice, and Peace by Jim Scott at the New Bern Unitarian Fellowship, and that's on January 4th, which is Saturday.
All right. On January 5th, the New Bern Drum Circle is at the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship, so you can go here. And that you participate in as well, don't you, in the drum
Yes.
circle?
Bring
Yes.
your drum.
All right.
My father-in-law's done that. Said it was a lot of fun.
And it doesn't even have to be a drum. It can be anything that you
Anything that you
can
can
count on.
Yeah.
Tupperware.
Yeah, and actually they, during the summer months or the warmer months, they do it at Union Point Park. But during the cooler months, they're doing it at the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship. That's a mouthful.
It's on Meadow Street, in case anybody's
Yeah,
wondering
there you go.
where it is.
Yeah,
All
just off of Trent Road.
Yeah,
Okay.
really neat.
What's on the 7th?
Okay, on the 7th, behind-the-scenes costume shop at the Tryon Palace Way Station, which used to be the visitor center. Then on the 10th, we've got on the International Film Series, which they do at Oringer Hall at the Craven Community College. They've got a film called The Guilty.
No. Okay. All right.
Also on the 10th, Art Walk in New Bern, presented by the Craven Arts Council at the Bank of the Arts, Greater Good Gallery, and numerous locations downtown. It's a lot of fun. If you haven't been to Art Walk, you're missing out.
Yeah, and it's around town also, so you have to.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can usually pick up a map and it'll list,
Yeah.
all the different locations you can go to.
Yeah, get the map at the, well, they're all
Bank of the
over.
Arts,
It's
yeah.
Bank of the Arts, Greater Good Gallery,
Mitchell's. you can always-
Mitchell's, yeah.
It's always the default.
Yes.
Mitchell's.
Okay.
And the Potter's Throwdown is on the 10th. I don't know if you've been to that. That is an amazing thing to watch. It's the Potter's Throwdown and Super Bowl at the Bank of the Arts. And these are potters who are competing with each other to see who can make the most pots so that they can be glazed and used for the soup, what is it?
Empty
bowls.
bowls.
Empty bowls.
Right.
And it says
Great program.
super, like soup, like.
Or,
Yeah.
SOUPGR.
So,
Oh,
I'm not sure.
It's a little fun.
I gotta find out they'll have soup there. I'm guessing if they say Super Bowl.
No, it's just they're making the bowls.
They're making.
Yeah, so it's not even finished clay yet, so they couldn't pour you
Before they
any soup.
didn't say Super Bowl, so I don't know if they've added something to
You never
that.
know, because Eileen's in charge of this, and
And
she's
we're gonna
a
have to find
wild
out.
woman.
Give her
She'll
the-
know.
She's
Give you a
absolutely
call.
a wild woman.
And
She's wonderful.
Yeah, and Empty Bowls has, oh my gosh, they have all kinds of, different people in our community come together and they make from chili to squash soup to all
Yeah.
different types of soup, so it's a fantastic.
That's a great
community
event.
event,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
And that's another one that sells out too.
Yes,
Yeah.
get your tickets.
Okay. Well, the 10th through the 12th, Baskerville, a Sherlock Holmes mystery, is starting at New Bern Civic Theater. That's an interesting piece. They have 5 actors, and 2 of them stay in single characters, and the rest of them play 30 other characters.
Yeah, and it is obviously a comedy, but, and it's going to be a great show. I've heard wonderful things about this one.
All right.
We've got a pet adoption event on the 11th, in case you don't have a dog yet, at the New Bern, and if you do, get another one. What the heck? It's at the New Bern Farm and Garden, and this benefits Craven Pamlico Animal Services Center and Colonial Capital Humane Society. Easy for me to say. So.
And then on the 11th, there's a garden lecture series at the North Carolina History Center, down there on the shores of the Trent River.
Right.
And on the 11th, New Bern Heart Ball at the New Bern Riverfront Convention Center. And
Heart Ball is huge.
yeah, it's
We're red.
New Bern has a big heart. And then on the 12th, as we were talking about earlier, the Bears in concert at Riverside United Methodist Church.
Right. On the 16th is the African American Lecture Series, The Normal School at Goodloe House, and that's happening at the North Carolina History Center. All the details you can find on newbernnow.com. Wendy's got everything posted, where everything is specifically, and how you get entry to all these places.
Yeah, and there's just so much happening in January. I mean, this is just for the next 2 weeks.
Yeah.
But, the Winter Feast at the Palace, the oysters and brews. And so if we didn't mention it, definitely check out our calendar on newbernnow.com, because they may sell out by the time you find out about it. So, yeah, anyway. All right, let's see who's watching. Oh, my sister on Buffalo. All right.
Buffalo, hey.
Hi, Cher. Happy
so
New
now,
Year.
can she enter?
She didn't comment.
She didn't
Sherry,
comment.
let us comment. Oh, actually, no, she's family, so that's
Family,
not.
yeah.
So Dad's still watching from the Amazon.
But he didn't comment.
Well, no,
But he probably wouldn't be qualified.
Oh.
Yes.
no, he would be qualified.
Okay, then do it.
Yeah, he would be qualified. So,
He's already done in though, doesn't he?
He does. It seems like it.
all right, I'm trying to butter him up so he'll bring me a gift from the Amazon.
Yeah. He's caught piranha and caiman.
Yeah, that would be so cool. I've always wanted.
You wanted a piranha?
That's
I've always wanted to take a trip down. the
Oh,
shore.
okay.
Yeah, your friends had exotic goldfish, but how do you know a piranha?
Stick your hand in there and pet that little guy.
It's really friendly.
Or any fish.
Boy. All right, where are we going now?
Okay, we are going day tripping. Are you ready to go day tripping?
We're ready, yeah, let's go.
Okay, now Rich, he's with his family. He has a new grandbaby, so Rich and Sally Ann. So happy New Year to them. But actually, before I say that, check out New Bern Music Calendar for live music. It's New Bern Music Calendar Facebook page, and that's what Joanne Friedman does that. So thank you, Joanne, for all your hard work. And okay, anyway, so the day tripping came. I researched this, so it's pretty much information that was taken from websites that
Super.
we quoted. So all right, you ready?
Ready.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, let's see. On January 4th, which is Saturday, the Beaufort County Traditional Music Association will host the annual Don Skinner Guitar Fest, and that's going to be at the Turnage Theater in Washington. And according to their website, this year's Guitar Fest is spotlighting many of the musically talented ladies in our area. Our performers hope to raise funding for Ruth's House. It's a not-for-profit organization that assists in the interruption of the cycle of family violence and offers a safe place for domestic violence victims. This is a free event and donations are appreciated. It's a family-friendly event, and for details call 252-946-2504.
That sounds fantastic. So, have you been to the cliffs of the new state park in Seven Springs, Wendy?
Yes, I love it. They have all kinds of things to do, and the rangers take you on tours and all kinds of stuff.
Neat. Well, the Friends of the Park are hosting the following events in January. National Play Outside Day. I love that.
Go outside and play.
It's a winter gala. National Dress Up Your Pet Day. Campfire in the Woods. Wildlife in Winter. And Winter Tree ID. These are just a handful of all kinds of activities they offer. It's a wonderful state park. And for more details, call 919-778-6234.
I think we need to take the Podsquad on the road there.
Ooh, that sounds like it's fun.
Outside?
Outside.
Let's get outside and
Yeah.
play, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. And then Beaufort Maritime Museum, what have they got?
Ted?
Well,
Well, from what my understanding is that it's they've got a maritime museum or movie called Lincoln's Secret Weapon on January 7th. Basically the story of the movie is on March 1862, opposing ironclads, the USS Monitor and the CSS Virginia, battled to a draw, but changed naval combat forever.
Wow.
The Monitor would eventually sink off the coast of Cape Hatteras during a storm and become the nation's first maritime sanctuary. It also follows an elite team of divers as they attempt to recover priceless artifacts from American naval history. And this event is free.
Oh, wow.
and on the 8th, the museum hosts Merry Time for Tots, where preschoolers and their caregivers are invited to explore the world of pirates.
What preschooler doesn't want to
Everybody wants to go, "Arr." Following a story about a boy who joined a pirate crew, everyone will get to make their own pirate hats and explore what's inside a pirate treasure chest. It isn't just gold and jewels. The program is appropriate for ages 2 to 5, and the cost is $5 per participant. Parents are asked to stay for the entire program, which can last up to 60 minutes. For details about either event, give them a call, 252-504-7758. Neat stuff happening at the Beaufort Maritime Museum.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's only two of how many events they have going on just in January alone. So
It's a wonderful place to visit.
yes,
Neat.
it
Really
is.
fun.
And I have a secret paper in front of me.
Uh-oh, a secret paper.
So we're gonna do
Okay.
decade trivia.
Contestants, are you ready?
Yeah,
It's our own little Jeopardy show.
there you go. Okay.
Sing the Jeopardy jingle.
What decade was the Planet of the Apes released?
60s.
Oh, I think it's 70s.
Do you know what year?
Oh, you're right.
69.
68.
68.
68.
I would have thought more like 68, 69.
Yeah, the 68. But 60s you got it, okay. All right, what was the largest dance craze of the 60s?
I'll say the twist.
And I'll say Simon is right. Simon says.
Our musicologist should know.
There you go. Okay.
Chubby Checker, though. He wasn't the first one to record the song. So
Are we going to demo or what?
No.
He could.
No, it was like the cameras.
I'm doing it off
I
camera.
had to press this button on self-destruct.
All right, what do you got?
Okay. Which artist had the first #1 rap single? And I forgot to add the year. I remember.
Which artist had a #1 rap single? So and it was Blondie did a rap song in the
Yeah,
70s.
but they don't. There's controversy that that's a rap song. But you're right on
There
that.
was like a
But it's a
Sugar
single.
Hill Gang did one called Rapper's Paradise. I think was that on
How about Will Smith?
Run DMC?
the
Beastie Boys.
Va.
Vanilla Ice? Vanilla Ice was the number.
First.
That is mortifying.
Yeah, had
Yeah.
the first #1 rap single.
That is not
First
cool at all.
#1. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah. When was the Walkman released in the U.S.?
Oh,
80s. Right?
70s.
Ted got 80s, 1980.
80s.
Yeah, and it was released in Japan in '79. So,
Okay.
all
See, we're a
right.
little more hip.
Yeah.
Who hosted the Academy Awards in 2002?
Oh.
Probably Billy Crystal.
Billy Crystal.
We might have
I was
called.
thinking too,
Yeah.
Billy Crystal.
Think about the View.
Whoopi?
Whoopi.
Whoopi
Goldberg.
Goldberg, right.
There you go.
And she had her numerous outfit changes.
Oh
She
yeah,
did a lot
and
of
she,
wild
I remember
stuff.
she
Yeah.
was Elizabeth at one point.
Yeah.
There you go. Okay. Which video, the video to which song by, sorry,
You want my glasses?
by a South Korean musician became an internet sensation in 2012?
I'll bet
She
you gotta be the
banged, she
Shane.
banged. I don't know. what that-
No. Well, in 2000. What's the year?
2012.
I don't know.
Jane, you, what did you say?
The dance thing, the gang, whatever it was.
Yeah, Gangnam something.
Yeah.
Gangnam Style.
Gangnam
Right,
Style.
that's right.
Thank you.
Yeah.
What was it called?
I'm so good.
Well, no. This was a
There you
group
go.
contribution.
Collaboration. Okay, let's see here. Which novel about domestic servants during the 1960s spent 15 weeks at the top of the New York Times bestseller list?
The Help?
2011, yeah.
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 Okay. And in 2016, we said goodbye to this legendary musician who died at the age of 57.
Prince?
Yes, yeah, he was one of my favorites.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
And who said, "You talking to me?" in 1976.
His character's name or is the actor's name?
Either one.
Gary Coleman? Is that? You're talking to me? Oh, I'm sorry, that's Travis Bickle. That's
Yes, Travis.
Robert De Niro.
Yeah,
Yeah,
taxi
great,
driver.
great.
Good
Yeah.
job. Yeah. All right. What else? What shoes did Consumer Reports rate as a health hazard in 1972?
I'm gonna say
Constable
platform
shoe.
shoes. Platform shoes.
72?
Good job. Yay.
Wow.
Wow. I was thinking high heels, but I guess that was back.
They're always
They don't.
They've always been a hazard.
Okay, which movie character uttered the phrase, "Greed is good"?
Gordon Gekko, Michael Douglas.
In what
In
movie?
Wall Street.
There you go. What era? What decade?
80s must have been, right? Or maybe
Yeah.
like 89 or
87.
87.
Okay. And who was the first woman inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?
Well,
First woman.
Oh,
James
Janis
Joplin.
Joplin, that would be my default.
I would
Pat
guess
Benatar?
Janis Joplin.
Linda Ronstadt?
It was in 1987.
87.
So you have to be
The
be
first
relevant
woman.
for like 20 years or like would have been like Diana Ross or I'm trying to think of rock stars.
You're kind of close.
So it's definitely somebody from the 60s.
Aretha
Yeah.
Franklin.
There you
Oh,
go.
wow.
Yeah,
Of course, of course.
She's still alive, isn't she? No,
Yeah.
she's just
Oh, no,
recently.
she's
passed
not.
away.
Right.
Yeah.
Great lady of music.
Yeah.
I got to see her live in concert.
Wow.
Wow. Well, I got to see Prince.
I did too.
Oh.
Yeah. Purple Rain Tour.
Oh wow.
I did the Beatles live
With,
in concert.
wow.
Good for you.
Candlestick Park.
Oh, cool.
Oh,
That's,
wow.
that's
My
awesome.
parents.
That is unbelievable.
Because they'd had so much trouble on their tours, there was that debacle in the Philippines. So my parents thought they're probably not going to come to the U.S. to perform again. So they bought tickets for me, my little brother, who was
Wow.
really. I was 10 years old when my brother was 4, I think.
Wow.
And bought tickets for us, a couple friends, and we had no idea it was going to be their last concert ever.
Yeah.
But we just thought we better see them while we could. He said, now we got seats that were really close to the front. We thought, hey, this would be great if they're on home plate, but maybe they'll be on the pitcher's mound. They're on second base. With a fence around them. And of course, it was typical Candlestick Park weather,
Oh.
Yeah.
windy and cold. But it was worth it. Well,
That's
worth it.
great.
Very cool. All
How
right.
exciting.
Okay.
What else you got on there?
Which of the following sitcoms from the 80s was President Ronald Reagan's favorite?
Well, his wife Nancy was on Different Strokes.
Was she really?
Yeah. There was.
It wasn't his favorite.
I'm not. Not gonna go there. But did you say which of the following? Did you have some choices?
No, just which
No,
one?
just go-
From the 80s.
How about All in the Family?
Well, that was more 70s.
That's
Oh,
70s,
you're right.
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
right, you're right.
Following sitcoms would be. What was the one with
In the 80s, I don't know.
Family Ties?
There you go.
Okay, good.
Nailed it.
because Michael J. Fox, and that was like a
Right,
Reagan
right.
cycle.
Yeah.
He was very into
Yeah.
Reagan,
Yes,
yes,
yes.
yes. Good job. All right, let's see.
So now we know if we need to play any of these trivia games here downtown. He's on your team.
All right, which Saturday Night Live alumnus took over as host of The Tonight Show in 2014?
Well, this is
Jimmy
confusing
Fallon.
because well, there's Jimmy.
Good job.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Wow, that
Oh, yeah. Nailed it.
Wow.
JJ.
That's really good. Okay, let's see. Do I have?
We need to get a table for one of the trivia nights.
Yeah, we do. Yes.
I love it.
Yeah.
What do you got? Come on.
Okay.
I can almost see the answers.
What movie epitomized the disco era?
Saturday Night
John
Fever.
Travolta.
There you go.
Yeah, with John Revolting. Yes.
John Travolta.
Not really.
All right. Brian Adams. Everything I do it for you. I'm not singing it because I can't sing, but was the theme song for which 1991 film?
Robin Hood. Right? Am I
Robin
wrong?
Hood, Prince of Thieves.
Oh, I have to. Okay.
Gotta have the whole
But
answer.
it was,
All right.
it was
Good job.
We
Wow.
did.
All right. Let's see. Is there another one? There's one more. I know I've been jumping around. So, which star was knighted by Queen Elizabeth II on February 24th, 1998?
Elton John.
Paul McCartney?
Elton John.
Elton John?
All right.
Sir Elton.
I think that's about all for trivia. Thank
Okay.
you, everyone, for participating. I lost track of who.
Ted's
It
got
doesn't matter. It was a team effort.
I've been keeping track, but
Yeah. we know who had the most answers.
There you go.
All right. So let's do the social media minute.
Okey dokey.
Anybody commenting?
Comments, questions, concerns, announcements?
No, I don't.
Good
have
jokes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Other trivia they want us to not answer?
All right. Well, thank you, everyone, for joining us today. The podcast also airs on New Bern's News Talk radio station, WNOS 103.9 FM and 1450 AM. Join us on Thursday, January 16th from 1 to 2 p.m. And if you're a business out there or nonprofit that wants us to come to you, give us a call at 252-259-6853 or if you have any questions or comments on how we can improve, send us an email at info@newbernnow.com.
they're a fun crowd to host. So.
Oh, thanks. Well, that's a wrap. Thanks for joining us, thanks for listening, and have a great day.
Woo!
I realized it was time for that. I can't find it on the machine.
Oh, we're still live.
Oh, good.
Just like last time, I was like, oh no.
Wait. Stop it.
No, Wendy.
You silly mouse.
Oh, and now Shadow's here?
Are you sure you want to stop?